we are group 5 and our topic is to how to charge your phone faster. So when we look at the introduction, we define the problem when we're on the street. So nowadays you can see people are constantly on their phones. However, the battery can die very fast and it takes a long time to charge it up. We cannot stay near an electronic outlet or a laptop all the time. It is really inconvenient for us to carry a portable charger around. In order to find a way to cut the charge time, we carry out an experiment. When we look at the process mapping, first we start from the battery. If we can see the battery is low, if the answer is yes, we come to the next step to see if we have the electronic outlets nearby. If the answer is yes, we can plug your charger into the outlet and then we come to an end. If the answer is no, we use an USB cable to connect your phone to your computer and then to the end. So that's basically about the process mapping. And second, we measure the problems. We decide to examine the following factors to see how they affect the charge time. Number one, if the charger amperage really have the influence on the charge time. And second, if the flight mode on or off influence. And third, whether the electronic outlet versus the personal computer matters. However, we did not include it in our experiment because it's really hard to measure. So when we look at the quality function deployment, we only look at the amperage and the flight mode. When we look at the relationships between the amperage, we're trying to find if the higher amperage result in shorter charge time. And when we look at the relationships between the flight mode, we try to find out if the flight mode on influence the short charge time. And third, we come to an analysis. Before the analysis, we prepare the materials. We only include the four things. Number one, in the iPhone 10. Number two, we have the electronic socket with 1A, 1.5A, and 2A output. And the third, we have two identical charging wires. And the fourth, we got a timer. We did an experiment to try to find out the result. So we have 3 steps in total. The first step is to record the current battery level of the tested iPhone 10. The second step is to try to find the charge for 10 minutes with a different mode and current would influence the whole charge time. And the third step is to record the time. And we got the Minitab analysis. Here's our 4 pictures to showing out the Minitab output. We got it analysis. When we look at the Pareto chart, we can see the charger and flight mode are the vital fuels and have a significant impact on iPhone charging speed. In addition, according to main effects plot, charger have a positive impact while flight mode will lower the charging speed when turned off. The graph also indicates that there is an interaction between the 2 factors. And we look at the regression output, we can see that both charger and flight mode have the p-value smaller than 0.05, suggesting that there is a statistically significant relationship between the predictor and the charging speed. However, charger flight mode has a p-value higher than 0.609, which means we should probably remove the predictor from the model and rerun the regression to get a more accurate prediction. Overall, our current model can explain 60.19% of the variance in charging speed as suggested by adjusted R-square. And after the analysis, we got our improvement plan. So here's our 4th suggestions. Number 1 is to set the performance target before the experiment. And number 2 is to make our test phone to be identical in the same situation. Number 3 is to analyze the data and is to make the adjustment. Last but not least, to under a flight mode in electronic socket with 2A output would improve the speed of the charge. We got 3 steps. So first, we have the warm-up activity. In the warm-up activity, we make the assumptions before experiment. And second, we try to understand the factors that would affect the result. If the flight mode is the biggest factors influence the charge time, or if the charger difference, or the third is the charger and plus the flight mode influence the charge time. After the warm-up, we got it. Our first step is to make the test conditions consistent. And we try to find the identical process to test the experiment. And we try to test the different mode or the charger. Last but not least, we make sure the repeated process as consistent as possible. So the second step, we have the analysis, and we're trying to interpret the data wisely and find out if the variables are significant. Flight mode and the charger has statistically significant relationship with each other. And the second is based on the data, we adjust the testing method to the experiment. So we can test the phones from the different iPhone models. After the improvement plan, we got the quality control plan. So we got the optimal combination is that we have the 2A charger and plus the flight mode on. We have the 4 steps to quality control. Do the same experiment with optimal combinations 30 times, and we use the 3 standard deviation from the mean of the 30 experiments to set the control limit. And then we plotted data on the control chart and it detected special causes. Last but not least, again, we try to find out the variation in the data and respond to the fluctuation. We're Group 5, and thank you for listening.